Decisions like who comes, who stays, who leaves.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to...
Starmer's one-in, one-out migrant deal is live, yet nobody from Labour dares show their face. One Tory MP rips the gimmick apart. Will the channel turn into a ferry service tonight?
I mean, obviously what you're speaking is logic and sense and whatever, and that's not being biased towards you. It's that this whole scheme is so horrendously awful and unworkable and just about kissing Mr. Macron's backside, I would have thought. That is pointless. How, I'd want to put to some government minister, how can you actually defend this, and how do you actually believe that the rest of us are going to believe what you're saying?
And that's probably why there isn't a minister on here defending the government and taking your questions, because they can't defend it. It's the indefensible. It's so unbelievably cynical to talk about this as making any difference whatsoever. It won't even make a small dent. People need to see radical, wholesale changes to the way we deal with immigration in this country, and that should include on the table potentially leaving the ECHR if the courts stand in our way from taking sovereign decisions as a country. Decisions like who comes, who stays, who leaves.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee. And
this interview is a perfect microcosm of the intellectual bankruptcy that has gripped the left in Britain. You have this Labour MP, Joe Robertson, spouting the same tired rhetoric about gimmicks and political failure while completely ignoring the real issues at hand. He wants to act all concerned about the plight of migrants, but he never mentions the strain they place on our public services, our housing, our very way of life. Let's be clear, uncontrolled immigration is a disaster for any nation, and Britain is no exception. It's not just about numbers, it's about the cultural and social impact. When you have a constant influx of people from vastly different backgrounds and cultures, it erodes the very fabric of society. It leads to social tensions, cultural clashes, and a sense of national identity being diluted. Robertson talks about the need for radical wholesale changes to immigration policy, but what does that actually mean? Does he want open borders? Does he want to simply throw our hands up in the air and say, come one, come all? Because that's the logical conclusion of his argument. He's also quick to criticize the government's one-in, one-out policy, calling it a gimmick. But what's wrong with trying to control the flow of immigration? Every country has the right to determine who comes into its borders. It's a fundamental principle of national sovereignty. The left seems to have forgotten that. They're so obsessed with globalism and internationalism that they've completely lost sight of the needs of their own citizens. And then there's the whole issue of anti-Semitism. Robertson tries to blame the BBC for allowing Bob Geldof's anti-Israel rant at Glastonbury to air, but that's a ridiculous excuse. The BBC is a state broadcaster, funded by the British taxpayer, and it has a responsibility to uphold the highest standards of impartiality and decency. Geldof's outburst was clearly hateful and offensive, and the BBC should have taken action to prevent it from being broadcast. But the left doesn't want to hold anyone accountable for their words. They're too busy playing the victim, crying about cancel culture and free speech. They're more concerned with protecting the feelings of the most extreme fringe elements of society than they are about standing up for the values that have made Britain great. The fact that 45% of Britons now support an end to all immigration shows that the people are waking up to the reality of the situation. They're tired of the left's empty rhetoric and their refusal to address the root causes of the problem. The government's investment in youth clubs is a welcome step in the right direction, but it's not enough. We need a comprehensive strategy to tackle the challenges posed by uncontrolled immigration. We need to secure our borders, enforce our laws, and protect our national identity. The left's approach is simply not working. It's time for a change.